Hello everyone, my name is Anne Teato and welcome to the Psychic Matters podcast, episode number 91. Since my last episode, I have had the incredible opportunity to attend the podcast show 2023, which is the largest international festival for the business of podcasting, and it was held at the Business Design Centre in Islington, London. And over the course of 2 consecutive days, I immersed myself in a wealth of knowledge and captivating discoveries. And to share these fascinating insights, I conducted Facebook Live sessions on the Psychic Matters Group Facebook page, and the response from viewers has been overwhelmingly positive, with many expressing gratitude for the valuable information I shared from the show. So I invite you to join the Psychic Matters Group on Facebook, where you can gain access to these content-packed Facebook Live sessions, and there you will find a treasure trove of knowledge as I relay everything I learned during the podcast show event. So simply search for Psychic Matters on Facebook and join our vibrant community, and don't miss out on the opportunity to delve into the wealth of podcasting information that I've gathered and shared from the podcast show 2023. Meanwhile, let's talk about today's episode. I have a very special guest for you who is a remarkable quantum healer. Have you ever wondered how certain individuals possess the ability to facilitate healing and transformation on a profound level? Well, a quantum healer is precisely that type of holistic practitioner. Drawing upon the principles of quantum physics, my guest today utilises an array of techniques to promote healing and transformation in the body, mind and spirit by recognising that everything in the universe is composed of energy, and that this energy can be transformed and influenced. Quantum healers tap into the limitless potential of these principles. They employ a diverse range of methods, from energy medicine to spiritual practices, in order to harness and channel this energy for the purpose of healing. And today we explore how a quantum healer can assist you in achieving greater well-being, clarity and purpose. By addressing the root cause of your challenges and fostering balance and harmony in your energy system, a quantum healer can help guide you towards the path of profound transformation. Get ready to discover the incredible ways in which a quantum healer can positively impact your life. Let's dive in. Today in the Psychic Matters studio, I am honoured to be with a wonderful lady. I know you're going to absolutely love her work. It's Biba Logan. She's a quantum healer and an abstract artist. Biba, welcome to Psychic Matters.
Hey, thank you for the invitation onto your show.
It's such a pleasure. I've wanted you on for quite some time because, you know, Biba, I know a little about a lot of things. But one of the things I know very little about is quantum healing. So let's start there. How did it come into your life and what is it?
It's a phenomena, actually, is what it is. So when we think of a phenomena, it's not something you can really get your head around, right? It's something you intuitively feel about, or it's like the whole UFO scenario and those beautiful beings and the spacecrafts and how that comes into our world, and how some people are into it and some people aren't, and some people believe and some don't, and some believe they're from other places. That's the phenomena. And quantum healing, it's similar in that it's different things to different people. So for me, it came in when I had seen a remote viewing documentary. And like you, I love remote viewing, right?
That's right, exactly.
It's a wonderful tool. So
Yeah.
I was studying remote viewing and I was plugged in, like binging YouTube remote viewing sessions, wanting to really understand. And I watched a documentary, and that just freaked me out. It got into my head, and it disturbed my rhythm, and I didn't know what to do because nobody had the answers to the questions. Like, nobody knows really, where do you go when you die, right? No one had the answers. And I'd done my own research and loads of NDEs and OBEs and all this type of studying on near-death experiences and the consistency and the continuity of that. And I knew this was an internal question, and it was like, when we die, when we leave the body, because we don't die, but when we leave this body, does our soul have a choice? Because in the documentary, there was no choice, and that's what scared me. So quantum healing just popped up, as it does. It just pops up when you need it. And so I found this amazing lady in Ireland, and I went to see her, and I had one question, and the question was, when I leave this body, do I have a choice? And she said, you've only got really one question. I said, yeah, I need to clear this out. I knew nothing about what to expect. I thought I was going to be hypnotized, forget everything. I didn't really care what I had to do. I just wanted to feel peace within my system again. So she brought me through this session, and it was a phenomenon. I don't know how to explain it to you, Anne. It was extraordinary. I was in another realm, in another body, in another time, on a manifestation machine. And I had this system. My whole system was an antenna. So I felt everything intricately. But when I had that experience in that quantum healing session, she helped me connect to my higher self. And that's where you get to ask the questions. And the questions all got answered. And when I finished that session, I felt strange is the only way I would explain it. It was like, what is that? It's so good. Is that real? Like, can that be real? And so I kind of just put it to the side, and about 3 months later, my life completely changed. Just have to say that I got the question answered about, yes, where do we go when we leave the body? That was the first thing that was answered. So my higher self, which loves me completely, your higher self loves you completely, wanted me to be at ease, brought me into this quantum healing session, said, listen, you got to wipe that documentary out of your system. They wiped out the energy frequency of that documentary. They showed me what my true essence was, so I could engage with that. And my creativity, my psychic abilities, my clairvoyance, and it's like it just skyrocketed after that session. It opened up all the things that I was kind of aware of, but just didn't know how to access them. Do you know what I mean?
No, I don't know what you mean, but I can only imagine how incredible that must have been, because I've never had a quantum healing session like this. But you said it was about 3 months afterwards that things began to change. So what were you doing in the meantime? What was the delay? Why was there a delay? And then what happened?
Yeah. Okay, because it's quantum healing. So you've got to break it down for a sec. So quantum healing. So it is a healing modality, but it's quantum. It's non-linear. It's like the work, Anne, that we do, no space, no time. You're going into those realms. It's infinite possibilities. And so if I go for a healing session today, I think, oh, well, I feel better. This isn't really like that. It's multi-dimensional healing, multifaceted. It goes across all space and time and through all realities, known and unknown, through all of the fabric of what we are in all of its allness. It just doesn't deal with Biba today. It deals with Biba past, present, future, across all timelines right now in this moment. It brings them all together and it heals that. Like, it's phenomenal. And that's why it takes time, because the ripples of the work and the energy of the work is high frequency work. And that just takes time to integrate into the body. It takes time to integrate into your life, into your system. Because I think it was to all happen like now. Say if I had a session today and it all happened now, it just might be too much overwhelming maybe. Your dreams become much more vivid. Like my abilities, that's when I got to know you, like my abilities to feel empathically, to intuitively read people, to intuitively know things, to messages coming in like ferocious speeds. So that just was a graceful period for me to land that frequency within my system so I could begin to go, hold on a second here. I need to study mediumship. I need to study psychic stuff. I need to look more into remote viewing. I need to paint. I need to do this. And then I woke up and I knew how to paint. That's the whole strange thing about this.
Speak about that as well. How does that happen?
So it was just after the whole lockdown thing, and that was a little bit tricky, right?
What, lockdown?
Yeah.
Somewhat tricky, yes, for a lot of people.
That kind of got boring after about a year and a half, like really boring. And I wanted to change my life, and I wanted to create a new reality. And I'd been studying all the remote viewing stuff through the lockdown, and I knew I could create my own reality, but I didn't really know how to go about doing it. I knew I could do it, but it's like I didn't know how to do it. I believed I could do it. And this quantum healing, it unlocked within me a much bigger inquiry into the self, into life, into what's possible. It's almost like I was a new person on how I viewed life. And so I went to bed. And when I went to bed, I said, I want to experience joy. I need joy. And I need it all the time, not just when it comes and goes like a wave. So that night, I had a vision, is the only way I can describe it. And I was standing on a planet in space, painting another planet. And it was all grey, and it was metallic, and it was gold, and it was sparkly and shiny. And it was so vivid that I knew it wasn't a dream. And I knew I wasn't dreaming in the dream. I knew this was remarkable. And I was painting, and I was an artist. And I was painting this canvas, which was the size of my bedroom wall. It was massive. And I just woke up and I knew I had to paint. I just thought I need to get a massive canvas, and I need to find out how to do all these things. And within a few weeks, I'd figured it all out. I knew exactly what to do, where to get the materials, how to apply them, how to make them so they stay, how to get the colors, the textures, that iridescence, that it's a visual atmosphere is what I was after, as opposed to painting, because I can't paint. I can't draw. I haven't got a clue how to draw, but I can create an atmosphere. That's how I know how to do that. And the quantum healing created a new atmosphere in my life. And therefore within me, I was taking that out of me and putting it onto a canvas or a wood panel.
That is just beautiful. It reminds me of a children's book that I'm writing, which is about this little weasel, and he painted the wind and he painted his feelings. And that sounds like what you're painting. You're painting an atmosphere rather than a visual representation of something. And that's must therefore contain its own energy, which is why your paintings have become so powerful for the observer.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's so fascinating. So let me go back a little bit over this, because how did you know? Like, I've had a look, and anybody listening to this, you simply must go to Biba's website. Biba, what is your website? BibaLogan.com?
There's the Biba frequency, and that's my art. And there's the quantum healing.health.
Right, brilliant. I'll put all the links to Biba's websites in the show notes. But if you go to her website and have a look at her work, it's just absolutely astonishing. So, Biba, you say you woke up and you knew how to paint, and you knew it had to be on a big canvas. I'd love to be able to paint like that. Where did you go for your materials? How did you know what methods to use, what paints to use? Where did you go to get that knowledge?
Yeah, I went inside. I went into myself.
Not B&Q then, not home base or B&Q for the paint.
I went in all my life. I've had to get all the information I've ever learned has been on the inside. I've never been given or taught anything, Anne. And that just seems to be the way I created this life for myself, that I had to come in and figure it all out by myself. And so after the dream, I knew I needed the materials. And so I rang one friend and I said, what's the best art shop? And he said, there's one art shop that might have the biggest canvases. Now, I didn't know where I was going to put these. I never considered anything practical. I just thought I need the biggest canvases you could.
I love it.
And I got loads of them. And I went to the art shop. I just knew what to buy. It's like I just knew. It's like I'd been there 100 times before. It wasn't new to me, Anne. And what I learned is, you know that we have a light within us. Yeah. And you teach that in part of your training about going in, connecting to that light within. And that light within us is reflected by a light outside of ourselves. And you teach about blending the light within to the light without, right? You taught me that.
That's right.
Personally, I did. You did. And it also changed my life. And because as within, so without, this light within, so there's reflective elements in all my paintings. And they may even be hidden. They may be painted over or scraped off or plastered over and maybe put on again or just hidden. But there's reflective elements in all the work. So when the work is opposite a window or opposite the light, it's reflected. It like lights up, Anne, just like us. Yeah. These pieces are just like their own consciousness. They're just like us.
It's just incredible. So when people stand in front of the works that you've created, what's the sort of feedback that you get? What are people saying about the experience of, rather than admiring a painting that's got nice colors in it or a nice whatever, what are they saying about the experience of standing in front of one?
Yeah, it's the feeling. They talk about the feels nice. And now that will be my language. I'm a feeling person, so I feel my way through life. But people will say, when I look at that painting or when I have that painting up, it feels like it changes the atmosphere in the room. It feels nice. And they don't maybe know what they like about it. They may look at it and go, well, I like the colors or whatever. But actually, there's a feeling that comes off the work. It's this frequency, I guess, that just comes out of the work and it comes into the atmosphere. And it's a healing recalibration type of a frequency that the person needs, I guess.
Yeah, so therefore it must continue to unfold its embodied medicine, I suppose. I just think it's absolutely fascinating, not only just fascinating from that aspect, but they're so beautiful, the colors that your higher self chooses to paint with, the textures. Don't you also use plaster within your work as well? So it's not just paint on canvas.
Yeah, like I actually can't paint on canvas. I don't know how to do that. Isn't that funny? I tried a few times and it's like I just stand there looking at a wall. It's like, no, I'd prefer to go and make a cup of tea. It has to have texture on it. It's like this, it's like a strange thing. It has to have very thick texture and I break the texture off and then I reapply it and I scrape it down and I break it up and I break it down. So I'm constantly building and reconstructing this wall. I'm making walls, Anne. They're like walls, ancient walls that you'd find if you went into like Rome or one of these old churches in the middle of nowhere that's got a really old wall. I love those places because they hold things. They hold.
As you say that, I can smell that, the lovely smell of those old buildings and the almost the wetness in the wall and the old plaster work.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what I like. And I think that's what I'm going for. But they just happen to be so colorful. There's so much, they're bursting with color. But I have a new thing that's happening now. My mother got quite ill and she's better now, thank God. But she got ill. So when she got ill, I couldn't paint.
Right.
But I didn't figure that out until she got better. I just thought, I'm in the flow. I'm studying other things. And then I went into the studio and I was painting canvases, but they were all black. And the plaster was black. I made the plastering, this Italian plaster, I made it black. And I thought, black? This is really like, okay. So I just walked out. I thought, oh, no, I'm not doing black. Went back into the studio a week later, more black. And I thought, hold on, what's going on with the black? And then I realized that the black is the new base and it's got the beautiful color coming out of it, whether this like it's an old like mold color coming out or a gold. And I had a really fun thing I did, right? And you're going to love this being a psychic medium channel for the universe. I decided to channel Hilma Clint. Hilma Clint, is that even her right name? Hilma Clint is a spiritual artist from 100 years ago. And she's the first abstract artist. So I decided to go in, make a connection and call her in and ask her what would she like to paint now if she had an opportunity 100 years later. Abstract art is a thing now. It wasn't a thing when she was around, but it is now. It's accepted and it's spiritual. And she gave me 3 paintings. She revealed 3 paintings to me in 3 separate occasions. The first night when I meditated, she revealed one to me, which was the divine masculine. And the second night was the divine feminine. And then on the third night in the meditation, she said, when you have the divine masculine and the divine feminine combined and in harmony, you get the divine nature. So she showed me how to paint those, and there was certain horizontal and vertical lines, and then they form a cross. And I just thought, oh my God, I just love that.
That is just beautiful. But how did she reveal that to you? Did she show you the finished painting? Did she show you the method? How was that revealed to you?
I'll tell you exactly how it was revealed, because it's not something I do unconsciously. I think I'm always channeling stuff in, but it's not like I'm consciously going to do that now. I consciously do it when I meditate, but not during the day. And so I think we're channeling all the time. Night, noon, and morning, I think we're just channels. We're radio frequencies, right? And so I made a conscious decision because she kept coming into my reality about 7 times from different people. So I thought, I need to look at this woman. She keeps popping up. She's trying to get in touch with me or something. I don't know, but I need to look at who she is. And so I looked at who she was and I saw her art and I fell in love with her art. It's like, wow. It feels amazing looking at her art. Do I like the art? I don't know if I like it, but I like how it feels. So I closed my eyes and I said, listen, you're a spirit, you were a medium, you were a channel, you were an artist. I'm doing all the same things, but I'm here 100 years later. What would you like me to paint? So she showed me the plaster on the panel and it's a line going down. So it's a vertical line down. She said, that's the divine masculine. And then the next day she said, now here's the divine feminine, which is a horizontal line. And on the third day, she just said, here is the divine essence. When we combine the two aspects of ourselves, we become Christ consciousness. So it's the cross. And she didn't show me colors or anything. And she came in as a pink mist, actually. She was like this pink mist and she was very graceful. And I struggled with that because when I made them originally, I didn't like them. I thought, no, this isn't really working for me. I just I'm not feeling this. So I had to add my own element to it, which was the black and the gold. And now I get it. Now I'm beginning to understand how to interpret that information. So I was in the park yesterday and I was like, well, I've created that triptych. What's next? Then she showed me, you are the order in chaos. That's what we are. When we're coherent, when we're got a coherent frequency, mind and heart is combined, and you're doing your meditations and you're doing all the right things, we have a beautiful coherent frequency. So we become the order in this place. So she showed me the next paintings, which is another line. She just shows me the lines and how it looks. And when I receive that visual, it's like a vision, a visual, it's like I just light up. It's like I've been given a gift and I just feel so humble about that. I feel so lucky and blessed to have that ability to just say, what's next? And then she just, or it, or whatever's revealing that to me, Anne. It's beautiful and it feels so nice to receive that information.
Gosh, I should imagine it feels absolutely incredible. Do you ever doubt? Do you ever doubt what you're receiving?
I gave doubt up 6 months ago.
Tell me about that, because a lot of people I teach, and through my own experience, of course, also, we doubt ourselves. Sometimes we doubt the information that comes through. Sometimes we think we're going a little bit, crackers. And how do you give up the doubt? How do you trust and allow, just for the people that are listening, how can they learn to trust that which is coming through and being given?
This is important because if you doubted yourself, you wouldn't have made this podcast or all the hundreds of teachings and podcasts. And if I doubted, I'd never painted a painting. And if all your guests on your show doubted themselves, we'd never have podcasts to listen to. Yeah. So doubt will pause everything. And it's not like we're here for 1,000 years. We're here maybe for 80, 90, 100 years in one particular body. And so when I was studying the quantum healing and I was working with the phenomena of that, and then I was working with clients, I was like, I don't know if I can do this because I'm not sure what I'm really like. It's such a phenomena. It's not something that you can kind of get your head around because every client goes into different realms, studies different things. And so it's so far out. And part of my old belief system was, that doubt. I decided that to give it up. And especially with my art, and the photography helped me to give it up as well. Here's how I view that. I'm here to have as much fun as possible on this earth. I've come here to enjoy myself and have fun. That's it. I've come here to have an amazing experience. And so therefore, I'm going to paint as many paintings as I like. I'm going to do as many quantum healings as I can to help people. I'm going to help people overcome their trauma. And the trauma is, Anne, it's low self-esteem. I'm not enough. It's not enough. I'm not good looking enough. I'm not talented enough. I don't have enough. No, in this reality that we all seem to walk around in, it's never enough. But we are more than enough. We are bursting with life. We're bursting with ideas. We're bursting with love and help and compassion and talent. And so the quantum healing brings that out of people. It brings it out of them. And therefore, how am I going to help anybody, Anne, or even myself or my daughter or anybody, if I just doubt myself all the time, that's so boring. It's such a boring, it's like jealousy. It's such a useless, low vibrational reality. And therefore, when doubt comes in, you got to change your rhythm. You got to meditate. You got to go for a walk. You got to say, I am enough. In fact, I got this. And it's self-talk. It's a little bit of therapy, whatever that may be, whether that's microdosing, whether that's quantum healing, whether that's art. You got to change the rhythm, because if you're listening to the same frequency, like Joe Dispenza teaches this, if you're listening to the same voice every day, you're doing the same things every day, you'll never, ever, ever see change. So when I'm doing your courses and I've set up a thing on my website to help people, part of me is like, I don't really want to do that. I don't really want to do it. And here's the thing. I'm going to do it because I don't want to do it. I'm going to go the opposite, because I'm thinking, I know how to do this, but there's something in me that it's so out of my comfort zone. Like it's like parachute jumping. I am so far out of my comfort zone with psychic and mediumship and all of that, but I'm going to do it because I can do it, right? And I'm enough. And whatever information comes in, I trust it, because it's saved my life so many times, Anne.
And when you trust it, certainly when you've been on any course that I've taught, you've been absolutely incredible being able to give that information. It's just flowed through you. And so by surrendering to that experience, you've become rich. That's where wealth lies, I feel. And not in terms of monetary, you understand, just the richness of life. And I think you're absolutely right, Biba. We are here for such a short time. It is my mission also to rinse every ounce of joy and laughter out of every minute of every day. And anyone who's come on my classes will always tell you that they're a lot of fun, because I just think, why not? The human spirit is naturally playful, very, very creative. God, the universe, is very, very creative, that universal energy that flows. And I love what you said there about giving up other people's version of us and who we should be, what they think we should be. And once you understand it's never come from you, all that doubt, all that human angst that we have, it doesn't belong to you. It belongs to other people. They plant it on top of us and we accept it as ours. But once you get rid of it and you say, you know what, I'm going to be me, I'm going to enjoy this journey, I just think that's when we really live. That's when we can really come alive. And you look at the people you're talking about, Hilma Klint, you look at David Bowie, you look at all the different writers that have come through, the painters, the artists, the photographers, and they live. The great successful people are totally on their own path. It doesn't. You can walk along beside them for a while, but they're totally going their way, the way they want to live. Look at Freddie Mercury, all of these wonderful expressive people, some of the wonderful fashion designers, Vivienne Westwood, or all of these people that have lived. We've had the pleasure of sharing the planet with the same people at the same time. It's wonderful, isn't it, to know? And how can we be more like Biba? How can we be more like Anne? How can we be more like David Bowie? How can we just surrender other people's version of ourselves? I just think it's fantastic opening that door.
Can I just say, though, as well, I am a light being in a body. We are beings. Actually, do you know who said that? There's a documentary called Kardec on Netflix, and he brought spirituality in 1886. He made it kind of mainstream. And he said that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So that's like 150 years ago. And it's not like I need to connect. I am the connection. It's not like I need to channel. I am the channel. I need to love. I am the love that I'm looking for. I am the healing that I'm looking for. I am that. I am the light. I am the answers. I have everything I need within me. And when I tune into that, when I really work with that on a daily basis, like a spiritual practice, there is no room for doubt. Doubt comes when you neglect yourself. When you neglect the light that you are and you start thinking you're a human being and you have to mind your kids and make money. If you continue to think like a human being, you will have those default setting doubts and worries playing nonstop all day and all night. But when you know that you have responsibility and you go onto the other side and you know, well, if I am the abundance, I'll always have what I need. If I am the creator of this reality, well, I can create new doorways, new possibilities, new opportunities. Like I call in particular clients, Anne. I call in, like I create what I want to experience in my day every day. And I'm absolutely blown away by the results that I'm getting. I'm blown away.
That's just fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. But just before we leave talking about your beautiful paintings, the last thing I just want to say is I know that a piece of your art has been featured in a Netflix show. But let's go back to the quantum healing for a second. So you offer this as a service to your clients. You offer it in person in Dublin and online. Is that correct?
Yeah. So quantum healing hypnosis technique was developed by Dolores Cannon, let's say 50 years ago. And she wrote 20 books based on her experiences. And she doesn't claim to be a channel, anything. She just says, I'm a researcher. And after 50 years of thousands of clients, she started connecting to this collective consciousness through these clients, by the way, who had no idea what they were talking about when they were in hypnosis. Now you're fully conscious, but your higher self talks through you. So it's like I could be talking to you now and I sound and look like me, but it's I'm accessing the higher self.
Before you go on about Dolores Cannon and this beautiful story that's about to unfold, some people listening may not understand what the higher self is. Can you give a brief explanation, Biba?
Well, the higher self is where it's at, guys. Your higher self is the part of you that is and was and always will be. And it's the part of you that is your God self. It's what you're connecting to. It's what you're praying to. It's like your messenger. Your higher self is your oversoul. It's your light being body that decided to come to earth and have this experience. And it's the part that opens all the doors for you, gives you all the ideas, all the dreams, all the visions. And we, Anne, have access to our higher self. You know this anyway.
Okay? I know this.
Exactly. And so your higher self is the part of you that's a higher consciousness part of you. It didn't forget. It's the part of you that didn't forget.
I love that. Thank you. And I interrupted your beautiful story about Dolores Cannon.
No, because it's important, the higher self, because the work I do is about connecting to your higher self. So Dolores Cannon wrote all these books. And when I read her books, that's how I found out about quantum healing. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like, I want to know about my higher self. I want to know more about that. And when I did the quantum healing session, and I subsequently done quite a few quantum healing sessions since then, I decided to study it because with my own healing journey and my own healing of myself I have an absolute love for healing. I love healing, the idea of healing, us overcoming ourselves, overcoming everything, having a beautiful life, a prosperous life, and just healing all those parts of ourselves that can really be healed. And I spent 20 years on different modalities of healing, and none of them really, listen, all of them are great, but none of them were doing it for me to the point where I would give up everything just to pursue that. But with quantum healing, what happened to me is I thought, wow, this is different. This is phenomenal. The results are phenomenal. So I just decided to become a quantum healer. And I studied in 3 different schools, and I'm even continuing to study another hypnosis modality. And hypnosis and quantum healing, it's not like hypnosis where you go in and it's all like on the movies and it's weird and you forget. It's not like that. You lie down and you listen to my voice or the quantum healer's voice, and we bring you into this beautiful, deep, meditative trance state where you're fully awake. Unless you're somnambulistic and you don't remember a thing. But that's okay because we record the session. Okay. And I will guide you through this journey that your higher self is showing you. And why I love this work, Anne, and why I love working with you as well is because I've learned how to articulate my internal world, my spiritual internal world that I've been connected to since I was a child. I'm always talking to beings and going on these journeys into different worlds. I've had that my whole life, but I've never articulated to anybody until recently, especially the work with you. I'm beginning to learn and understand. And with the quantum healing, I know where they're going. I know it's like they're going into my world. So it's very easy for me to do the work because it's like it's natural for me to do this work, bringing people through those realms and through the different realities and the different past, present, or future lives, however you want to look at it, going into themselves, into that, the highways of themselves, the landscapes of themselves. And some of it's abstract and some of it's incredible and some of it's like you're in space, or sometimes you're in like the 12th century. And it doesn't matter where you go. What matters is something is being revealed to you in that particular space. And your higher self will make that relatable to you. And I will navigate you through that space because I'm clairvoyant. I can see what you can see. I can feel, I can feel what they feel. I see what they see. And therefore, I'm doing this dance with them saying, right, tell me more. What do you see? And you coax them into feeling safe, comfortable, secure to receive all the healing that's waiting for them, all the insights that's waiting for them, all the connection that is already there. They just haven't been able to reach it, is in them, and it comes to them. And they begin to establish this connection with their higher self. And then, this is the part I love most, then they know what that is. There's now a map has been created for them through that work. So after the session, they are empowered, and it has enabled them to know themselves on a much deeper level, so they don't need anybody anymore. They do their own work with their own higher self, right?
So the session is one session and you're done, or two sessions and you're done?
Well, for me, I'm never done, Anne. Unfortunately, it's not like that for me, because I just have this like very inquisitive soul. But most people will have one session and they'll get all the answers that they want. Or you can have two sessions. It really depends on what you want. Do you want to overcome a trauma? Do you want to know what your purpose is? Do you want to know what career to take? Depends on what you're looking for. And I'd say 90% of people this works on. I have worked with people that are very analytical. Some people are they just can't believe. You have to believe this for it to work.
Yes.
Do you know that way? It's like mediumship. If I say, well, I don't have a link, Anne, how can I talk to dead people?
Yeah.
Well, I'm never going to be able to do it.
No, that's right.
It's the same thing.
But it just sounds so beautiful. And what if somebody who didn't really have a reason to come, but was curious, could they come to you?
Definitely. Curious is where it's at, because when you're curious, you're open. And when you're open, so if you came to me and you said, right, well, I need to know about this, you're more directional, focused on one thing. But the people who come to me who have no questions, they just want to experience quantum healing. Well, that is just an adventure, because their higher self will show things to them that they didn't even know are possible.
It's just beautiful. It just sounds like such a wonderful, wonderful experience. And what are your clients saying after they've had a session with you and they've had time to process that afterwards?
Well, some people will get instant healing and they'll have like this elevated frequency in their body and they feel transcendental or transcended or whatever those words are. They have had that experience that they're now living at a higher frequency. And so they're attracting in better things into their life and all that. And then there's other people who don't really understand what any of that was about, a bit like myself in the beginning. But I help them understand that this is a slow revealing of your new self over the next weeks and months to come. And people, usually after a session, whether it's online or in person, sometimes it was so phenomenal, we don't really know what to say because there's no words. Because when they open their eyes and when I open my eyes and we look at each other, it's like, oh my God, we're back here in this world. That was incredible. It's like when you get lost in a mediumship session or when you go into remote viewing and you're just going in and then you open your eyes and like, whoa, I'm back here again.
Yeah, it's a funny feeling, especially when you've been deeply in there with your spirit communicator and you're just flowing and the information's just going. And then suddenly you're like, oh, right. And it's a shame. You almost don't want to let go of that beautiful higher frequency, that higher vibration.
That's exactly it. And it is online and it is in person. And I've learned that because this is energy work, it doesn't matter whether you're in person or online, because you could be in Australia and it's exactly the same because we're dealing with energy. And so before every session, I will meditate for an hour and I will tune in and I will call in their higher self. And I will say to their higher self that I'm here and open to be the best possible experience for this person. I really want to work with you and I want you to work with me. And I kind of set some kind of beautiful sacred space even before they arrive on Zoom or in person. And so they're feeling more safe and comfortable in the unknown realms, because it's quite an unknown realm. So we talk for a couple of hours, always, and we just talk. And whatever comes up just comes up. And it doesn't matter whether it's your past or present or your future. They just got to talk and talk and talk. And as they talk, the energy's been alchemized all the time in that space, alchemizing the energy. And then once we do that, they're more relaxed to then lie down and just let me guide them. And then they go and have their experience. And that lasts about 2 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, it's phenomenal. And I'll tell you just one thing, right? I had a quantum healing online recently with a lady in America. And I arrived in this place, and I've never seen anything like it. It was photonic light. And photonic light it's like a light that you've never seen before in this world. It's pure. It's like diamond light. And the sky was this metal blue. And everybody was coming and going, and I received so many messages in that place. And where else, Anne, would I have that experience if I wasn't doing a quantum healing?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, unless I was taking lots of psychedelics or something. Maybe.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And it stays with you so strongly. That's the thing. It's not just for the session. It unfolds, like you already said at the very beginning of this interview together, where things begin to unfold, things begin to fall into place, and the whole experience just becomes something that just continues to unfold over time. It's beautiful.
Yeah, definitely. You'd make a great quantum healer, Anne.
Well, maybe that's my next thing, Biba.
You would make an incredible quantum healer.
I would like to go and really have a look and study that, actually. If only I had the time. I'm at the moment studying remote viewing, funny enough, that you were mentioning that at the beginning, and taking that to an advanced level and combining that with my past life regression training that I've done, which I guess must bring us to a similar place in terms of experience, although maybe I'm not working so much with the energies and the frequencies that you might work with in a quantum healing.
Quantum meaning, for me anyway, all possibilities, all potentialities, everything is energy. So we're dealing immediately with nonlinear. Nonlinear means forgetting the limitations of 9 to 5. We're wiping that off the table, and we're like, I'm an energy being and I'm an energy creator, and I can create any scenario I want. And so with the quantum healing, we are opening the door to everything and anything in the highest frequency possible. And the client goes into this is a theta state. We bring them they change their brainwaves, so they go into this very relaxed state. It's like just before you fall asleep, and you know, when you just are aware you're just about to slip into sleep, or just as you come out of a dream, you're going into that space, and it's in that space that the subconscious mind is present.
Yes.
And in that space, that's what we're working with. So we're working with the subconscious mind, which holds all the keys to the kingdom.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's exciting, and it's just so full of potential, because I think you also said at the beginning of this interview that there is this great ascension beginning, this great changes for humanity. Maybe say a little bit about that, Biba, how you look at that.
So we are, I mean, if you look back at your granny and my granny 100 years ago, right? I mean, you know, horses and carts, there was no TVs, there was 8 kids in it actually probably even wasn't even a 1-bedroom cottage. It was just a space. And then you look at us, and we have, I know in the mystical and the esoteric and the mystery schools and all of that, they had their own wisdom and knowledge, and we've experienced a wealth of assistance because of the wisdom keepers and the keepers of time and the keepers of information and the keepers of light down through time. However, we are now at a time where the frequency on the planet has never been like this before. Apparently, it's been documented that we are shifting into a new timeline. And because we're shifting into a new timeline, there's chaos, internal chaos. All the issues are coming up. It's like a tidal wave. And some people are going through it at different times, and other times is nice and other times it's not nice. And then you've got the whole the economies and the wars and the COVIDs, everything has to change for us to flip to a new timeline. And the quantum healing, you're going into a new timeline. That's why I like it. You're flipping into a new timeline, and it's your responsibility to maintain that frequency when you get there. Now you can slip back into, no, couldn't be real. No. I have to go to work. I have to do this. I have to pay my taxes. You can slip back into that, or you can maintain a higher frequency and start believing beyond the boundaries of your norms and the potentials that are out there. And there's an amazing lady called Barbara Marcinak, and she's written books channeled by the Palladians. And she talks about, like Dolores Cannon, this evolution of consciousness. So it's called the ascension. And because of the frequencies are so high and the photonic light that's coming in onto the planet, we are all beginning. Look how many people are into psychic courses now. Mediumship, psychics, even my own, your own, all of us are getting enhanced, right? Everything's enhanced. Everything's more illuminated. Everything's more obvious. I can walk into a room and just know stuff, but I know that I know. Years ago, I would have not known that I know. I would have just felt weird. But now I know. It's like the witness is witnessing awake.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
It's like we're the witnesses. I'm observing myself, observing life. It's like the higher me is blending with Biba. My higher self and me are blending in real time and space. And it's extraordinary. We are in an extraordinary time, Anne. We got to utilize this time with our teachings, with our gifts, with our talents.
I find it absolutely so full of potential. I'm just so excited about it. I have never been more enthusiastic about the work that we're all doing than I am at the moment, which is why I'm so glad I started this podcast 3 years ago, so that everybody's work can be expressed. This is what we're all doing as light workers in the world. These are the kind of areas that we're working in, and everybody's beginning to talk about it now, and they've got a platform to share their work. And it's so important. We're all working in these different areas, and currently I'm creating this new course for remote viewing, where I'm working with the spirit teams from the spirit world who work with our teams of remote viewers here, that we can blend and merge our collective consciousness, I suppose, to assist and help humanity in things that are troubling us here. So I'm so excited about it. I can't tell you, because I don't know where it's going to lead us. Where's it going to take us? It just fascinates me. And the same with your work, the quantum healing, the things that you're doing, some on a one-to-one with your one-on-one clients, and then through the paintings and the creativity that you're doing. And then, Biba, what comes next? How do you personally know where your path is going to go? Are you going to go within and see what comes out? Or have you already got an idea of where you're going next?
I have. By the way, my whole body now is vibrating at a different frequency because of what you told me about what you're doing with the remote viewing.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
I know.
Oh my gosh. I really feel what you're talking. I feel the potential of that. I'm so excited, because what we're really talking about here is, for anyone who's listening, we're talking about you waking up and feeling really good.
Yeah.
And you knowing that you're the creator of your own reality, and that you're going to get up and you're going to have an amazing day, and you're going to create amazing experiences for yourself. And this is a reality for all of us. We just have to choose to believe it.
Yeah.
You just have to believe in magic, because it's real, It's not hocus pocus. It's not something for others who had the seventh daughter of the seventh daughter who's a psychic. No, it's not like that. We're all containers of light, and within the light is all the information that we need. It's all the abilities, all the talents, all the skill sets. We all have the same psychic abilities and mediumship abilities and artistic abilities. They're just expressed differently through us as different vessels. And it's about finding what yours are and harnessing that and nurturing that. And so for me, I want to work with groups of people. And I don't know how that looks yet. There's 2 things I want to do. I'm studying trance at the moment. Trance is something I just love. I'm studying trance and healing, obviously healing. And so what I want to do is this, Anne. I want to be able to, I know it's possible, and I know a lot of people have done it in the past. I'm also studying group regression in person. So I'd like to work with groups. And when you sit, I want to be able to go into a space and sit, and it's nonverbal. There's no words. And you just get hit by the frequency of love. It's nonverbal. It's a feeling. And I know that's possible. I know it is. You can sit in a room full of people and you sit together, and then you feel the frequency change, and that frequency starts moving in you and transforming you. And that's something I'm asking for. I'm calling it in. I'm working on it, and I'm just learning what that means to me.
I think that's phenomenal, because at the very base of what we are and who we are love. That's what we are. That's what we're here on the earth to become, to be, to express. And that love, what is love? Love is perfect balance, I feel. Mm-hmm. It's not one way or another way. It's just this perfect harmony and balance. And with that, I just think comes the most powerful beauty and creativity and wonderful feeling. And love is a feeling. That's what they say, isn't it? Can you imagine that you've just said that? You can reach that yourself, and then everyone else in the group is reaching that same space as well. So then there is that collective in the room. Wow.
Yeah, wow. And that's when you don't need to talk, because your system is just lit up in bliss.
Great word, bliss. Absolutely. Yeah. I love it, Biba. It's been fascinating talking to you today. Thank you so much for joining us. Tell us again where people can find you if they want to come and have a session with you one-on-one online. I know that you read for clients all over the world, or if they want to have a look at some of the beautiful paintings that are coming through you.
Okay, so my art is on the bibafrequency.com. bibafrequency.com is the art, and then the quantum healing I do online, and I do that in person in Dublin, Ireland, and that is quantumhealing.health. So there's two websites. And I just want to share something too. And don't worry, I'm not going to step on your toes here, Ram, because that will be impossible. I'm starting my own chat show, and I don't have a lot of guests because I'm working with people who are pioneers, people who have carved out new pathways, people who are creating maps. I've got about 7 people on, and they're just conversations, audio conversations with people who have created new ways for us to live, created new systems, people that started communities, people that have formed new types of ways of being and who've overcome all the internal battles with grace. And so I think, like you, there's so many people I'm meeting that are actually, they're pioneers.
Yes.
And they're only reaching a certain amount of people. So I want to be able to give them a space where they can just talk. I'm not interested in talking. We'll have a conversation, but I just want them to be heard. These people need to be heard because they will change so many lives.
That sounds incredibly inspiring, Biba.
Yeah, it is. These are amazing people, and I've had endless help from all of them, actually.
Oh, it sounds absolutely brilliant. When are you hoping to bring this out, put this together?
Well,
bring everyone together.
Conversations with consciousness. In the next month or two, Anna, I'll have that going. But like any good idea, there's the whole backload of work that has to go with it, right?
Well, of course.
Well, of course. You're such a lady.
Well, of course. But it will come. It's because it's needed. It's so needed. That's the thing. That's why it will come so easily for you. And you're just such a wonderful person. You show great enthusiasm always for other people's talents. You're so supportive. You're so kind. You bring the very best out of everybody that you speak to. And I've always been very struck about that, about you, Biba, that you just really see the light within each person that you meet, no matter who they are, no matter what scale of society, no matter how small or how big, how troubled, how untroubled, you see them. And that's a real talent.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Biba Logan. Biba Logan there, everyone. What a beautiful person she is. Encouraging each one of us to walk our own path and to go within in order to discover all of our unique and individual potentials and possibilities. It's phenomenal work. If you have enjoyed this episode, please leave me a written review, and you can do that on Apple Podcasts or Podchaser, and the link for that is on my website. And as you browse through my website, anntheato.com, ANNTHEATO.com, I encourage you to explore my latest offerings in the fascinating field of remote viewing. Starting in January, I will be launching a mentorship program called The Tools Needed for Remote Viewing in Psychic Detection. This immersive 6-month program will delve into the invaluable tools and techniques of remote viewing, things such as psychometry and dowsing, scrying and map reading, mind mapping, the secrets of ideograms, and tapping into our innate sixth, it's hard to say it, but I'm going to say it, our innate sixth sense of ambience. Sixth sense. Hard to say that, isn't it? Sixth sense, but I've managed. So whether you are an aspiring psychic detective or you're simply curious about enhancing your psychic abilities, this program holds immense value for you. So I invite you to join me on this incredible adventure as we unlock the skills and techniques of the psychic detective and uncover hidden truths whilst expanding our psychic horizons. Also, on the podcast page of my website, you will find a full transcript of this episode along with show notes, and there will be links which will take you directly to Biba Logan's work. So let's remember Biba's words. It's not like I need to connect, I am the connection. It's not like I need to channel, I am the channel. I am the love that I'm looking for. I am the healing that I'm looking for. I am that. I am the light. I am the answers. I have everything I need within me. I'll be back with you in 2 weeks' time, wishing you all well until then. My name is Anne Theato, and thank you for listening to Psychic Matters. Wow, that's a good way to finish.